Hey, what's going on, everybody out there in Radio Land? We're back. That's actually a very good sign. If they're inviting us back for a second show,
Very true.
that must mean that we did something right. First. I'm not really sure about that, actually. Maybe they just needed some filler for space. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, so I'm Rich Masucci, of course, running the ship tonight once again. And let's go ahead, and I'm going to introduce my panel of experts, as I used to call you guys, right?
Experts.
What did we used to say? We used to say our panel of non-experts.
That's
Yes.
true. Yes.
You said non-experts because
More
I would,
accurate,
yeah. So I would say that because like people would go, "Are they really experts? What's their qualifications?"
No.
Like, I don't know. Who the hell
Something.
knows?
We do
try.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, Jamie, what's going on, man?
Not much. Been a day. That's all.
It's been a day,
Oh,
man.
poor Jamie.
And I feel bad because you've got a million things going on.
Yeah,
and like your house is flooding, literally.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah,
Or at least the basement is, and that was something I found out like 5 minutes ago.
of course.
Yeah. So good times right there. my mind is really focused though on football.
Your mind is on football. Your house is floating away.
Yeah.
Hey, we can't beat that.
Gonna end up
Moss,
down the street later.
Moss, what you up to?
Hi.
Hey.
I'm glad to be back.
You are. Huh?
I am, yeah.
So-
It's good times.
Lots of football this weekend.
Lots of football.
Did you?
That's all we're going to say.
Yeah.
That's all we're going to say.
Now, also the fabled Garage Bar
Yeah,
opened up for its first weekend.
that's right.
We probably shouldn't really talk about the Garage Bar because we're going to get some undesirable people kind of wandering in one of these days, and
It's a nice place where we all gather to watch the football games together.
that is very true. That's a great way to put it.
And we're not releasing the address.
That's another good
exactly,
thing. We're not
yeah.
going to do
There you
anything
go.
like that. So, and Mr. Ray Nation,
Hey, what's going on?
how you were at that Garage Bar the other night.
I was.
And you bounced. You did the old Irish goodbye in the middle of the game to go place a bet.
I had to place a bet, and I'm glad I did. And when I saw the score, I was like, yeah, I was going to come back.
Yeah.
And I saw how bad the game was. I was like, oh, they probably closed up.
Believe me, I wanted to, and of course there was quite a few people that were hanging out, and I was like, oh man, what do I do to get these guys out of here and get them on their way? That's all I wanted to do. Let me tell you something. That game was completely painful to watch, and I guess I should just go into this right now.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I really should. And oh boy, where do I start? Let me put it this way. When you do a podcast, a football podcast, like we've done now, this is our third year doing it. When you do a football podcast, everybody thinks they have to like call you up and get your opinion on everything that happens in the NFL.
Of course.
So as you know, this weekend was my birthday. Please don't say happy birthday. It was not a happy birthday. And so about 4:00 on Saturday, the phone starts just blowing up, absolutely blowing up.
Oh, boy.
And people calling me up out of the blue. Hey, man, I got to get your input. I got to know what you're feeling about this Antonio Brown deal that's going on with the New England Patriots. Let me tell you something.
This is going to be great.
Do you really need to call me and ask my opinion on this trade? Because first of all, if you're really looking for some insight, right, turn on like NFL Network or go listen to Adam Schefter or whatever the hell his name is. You really don't need Rich Masucci's input to figure out what's going on. I mean, it's all over the news. But my God, I am so sick and tired of hearing about this goddamn trade. I really am. I really am, man. And I'm going to tell you something. All week, people have been saying, the Patriots, it's another Super Bowl, blah, blah, blah. You're right. It probably is. And for them to say, oh, well, you're acting like a butthurt little Steelers fan. I am butthurt.
You're
I'm
right.
completely butthurt. I'm jealous. I'm butthurt. You're damn right I am. Because how are you going to go out and spank my Steelers 59 to 3 or no, what was it? I'm sorry.
33.
33.
Yeah.
It might as well have
You made
been
it worse.
59.
I like how you made it worse.
It might as well have been
In
59.
my mind, it was
Yeah.
59. We didn't even get a damn touchdown. And you know what?
You barely got the 3, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And,
Sure.
then people say, it's all right. They're going to come around. That's it. The Patriots are literally the emotional vampires of the NFL. And I'm going to tell you why. Because they suck the damn fun right out of the league. They do. They completely suck the fun out of it. I went into that game thinking to myself, like, oh, you know what? It's the first game. Going to have a couple cocktails, sit back, enjoy myself. That lasted for about
2
3
minutes.
minutes.
I'm only giving it 2 minutes.
2 minutes. And then after that, I didn't even want to watch any football anymore. I was like, well, there goes the year. There goes the league. We know how it's going to end. and it was all the same scenario as always. I didn't even want to watch anymore. So I have a new thing. I have a new thing that I'm going to tell you. I mean, and let me say one other thing about this damn trade. $15 million, $9 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
You know that at 10 o'clock in the morning, he requested a release from the team.
Yeah.
10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
By 12, he already had
a deal in place.
Deal in place.
Yeah.
And by like 4 o'clock, he was already living in Tom Brady's back bedroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
He's
Give me a-
bunking up with Tom Brady.
I see Stuart Hutchinson said, "Happy birthday, thank you, man." But he's living he's living in his back bedroom, and that's the crazy thing. Now you got this grown ass man living in your room because you're gonna give him a place on the. I give up, man.
Yeah.
From this point on, I don't want to talk anything about Antonio Brown. I don't even want to say his name anymore.
No.
I'm so sick and tired of hearing about this guy. So from now on, this is my thing. He's no longer Antonio Brown. I'm not even gonna say his initials. From this point on, he's just the receiver.
I like that.
The receiver.
The receiver.
I don't even know if I'm going to put the air quotes on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The receiver.
Okay.
So when people say, "What do you think about that?" I'm going to go,
Who?
"About the receiver."
Yeah.
That receiver that's.
I don't think about it.
I try not to think
Yeah.
about it. I'd rather not think about it. Ruin my whole day. Ruin my whole year.
Poor Rich.
It's over.
I feel him. I'm right with him though.
It took
What?
3
Right with
hours.
him.
Why? What? You know, that's the most foul smelling trade, acquisition, whatever the hell you want to call it. How in the hell are they going to let that go through?
No answer.
Well, he was a free agent
Yep.
at that point. You know, he wasn't required to go to anyone. He can pick and choose. And
I'm going to tell you what.
I smell something.
I mean, come on,
Fishy.
But you have to also look at the other side, right? The one team Pittsburgh did not want to trade him to
Is where he was.
New England. And why did they not want to do that? Because they didn't want to obviously make the team that is probably their biggest competition better. But as a player, right? Like, look at what happened with Kevin Durant when he decided to join up with Golden State, right?
Yeah.
He could have went anywhere he wanted, and he decided to go to a team that's already on top. So, you know, I think in 2019 with the empowerment that players all across professional sports are realizing that they have more power and more say in dictating where they go, these things are going to happen all the time. As soon as someone's a free agent, if there's a team they want to jump on, they're going to do it. I mean, do I want to see the receiver on the
Nice.
Receiver, right. The
Good job.
receiver.
Rich.
Of
Good
course
job.
not? I was hoping he went to Denver, but whatever. You know, these things happen.
I was hoping he'd get suspended for fishy stuff going down.
I hope he was never play in the NFL again, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, neither of those
Oh well,
two things are
let
happening.
I don't want to talk about it anymore. It's
I'm
gonna
not
get me
gonna-
all pissed off.
I don't care. I don't care enough yet.
And congratulations, New England fans. I am jealous. I'm jealous. I'm hurt. Screw y'all. 31 other teams in the NFL. I don't want to talk about this turd anymore, except to say, you see, they send Demaryius Thomas packing.
Yeah, to the Jets.
Yeah, they're like, we don't need this
Ooh.
bomb anymore.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You know what? Good for him, because now he's going to go from where he was possibly going to be a 3 or 4 receiver.
Yeah.
He's number
to
one.
pretty
He's
much a
pretty
1.
number
Maybe.
one.
I mean, you can argue 2. I guess Robbie Anderson
Yeah.
is their future, but
Yeah,
Sure.
he's going to start. So good for him.
enough about that guy. I'm done.
Enough.
End the show now. I'm done.
It's over.
You guys watch anything else? I know you watched all the games.
I
But
mean, watch
course.
them all.
what'd you think about the Packers this week with the Bears?
I wish Chicken was here so I could tell him I told you so.
Actually, Chicken's watching. I see now that I'm actually starting to watch our Facebook feeds and things like that. I got to tell you, Chicken is watching, and we did good this week. Chicken, did you notice that? I don't know if you
6-4 is the actual total. I counted.
Nice. All right,
We
we'll
we
take
have
it.
like
3-ounce win in 6-4.
We'll
Yeah.
take it.
we have that. Are we announcing that? I don't even know if we're announcing it, but we should.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're winning the pool right now.
So far, yeah.
We would have.
It's 1 week. Let's not
We would have went
overreact.
undefeated if we would have listened to me, but I'm not going to hold that against you guys. I get the homer pick.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I did agree with you. I said just what?
All right, it's
I
only
actually
1
said flip a
point.
coin at one point and didn't really have to do that.
Yeah. Our texter here says, "How bad did my Falcons look?"
Well,
Not as bad as many other teams in the NFL. So if you're going with that,
A certain aquatic animal might have looked a whole
yeah.
lot better.
possibly phallic shaped logo. Yeah, that one is that was one of the worst of the worst. But
Yeah.
the Falcons were probably in the middle as far as the epic crap that you saw some teams
Yeah.
lay this weekend. So have some faith. It's mediocrity. So it's okay. There's somewhere to go up instead of at some of the other teams we're going to talk about later.
When I said earlier this week,
Yeah.
there's nowhere to look but up, and all of a sudden there was like 7 more touchdowns. It was
It was terrible.
Oh my God! Let's continue talking about the Packers here. Obviously, that was a blowout of the Bears, and one of the things though that I do want to discuss is there was an immediate reaction, and I was looking at all the Facebook groups and things like that, and some people were saying that they think Aaron Rodgers might have lost a step. Now, he is coming off of an injury. What did we say? The $90 million injury.
Oh yeah.
But what do you guys think about that? Is that really him losing his step, or is that just little rust?
I think that it's a little bit of both. I think that there definitely was some rust going into this game that had a lot to do with the fact that he didn't play any of the preseason. I know people can say what they want about the preseason, that it's a waste of time, but we saw a lot of veteran quarterbacks this week that looked horrible in the first quarter and even in the first half.
Yep.
I'm not going to mention any names, but there was quite a few of them. I think that was a little bit of the issue with Aaron Rodgers. I think a lot of it had to do with he is walking into a new system with a new head coach.
True.
He went against one of the best defenses in the NFL right now. So I think it's going to take a little bit of time to him to kind of get his groove back into the game. He's got a lot of weapons that he needs to start utilizing a little bit more. Devontae Adams, 36 yards, 4 catches. They really need to step that up and get him more into the game. Get to him early, target him a lot, and get him more in the game. He's got a lot of talent around him. He needs to build that up.
Yeah. One of the things, too, that I wanted to mention was obviously the Packers defense looked a hell of a lot better than I think people usually give them credit for. I mean, when we talk Green Bay, we're always discussing the offense. That's what they do.
Of course.
And this week, I mean, that pass rush was off the hook, man. I mean,
Devastating almost.
yeah, they got to poor Mr. Trubisky often. And
5 times to be exact.
yeah, it's 5 sacks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what did you guys see about that? Is that a pretty legit defense going on right now?
I think so, but I actually think it's less about the pass rush in my book. It's I saw a lot of the secondary I liked. Jair Alexander is a legit young quarterback going forward, without a doubt. But the one that impressed me the most was Darnell Savage. That dude was everywhere on Thursday night. His number, I should say, was called pretty much every play, and it was ridiculous how often he was involved in that. And that's not even to mention taking Adrian Amos from the team that they just played.
Right.
Their secondary is nuts. But even with that, one of the more impressive players, speaking defensively, Blake Martinez there. That kid is something else too. So I think the Packers did themselves a good service, and it's weird to say this because they actually gained by losing of some players in this. Clay Matthews gone now. He's been a staple in that defense for years at this point. Even Nick Perry, who's usually their go-to sack leader, he's out too. So by losing some of their more staples, I guess you can say, their veterans on that defensive end, they've gotten better by getting younger and faster. They are kind of legit. I mean, they looked really damn good the other night.
Yeah. Ray, what about you? What'd you think?
I mean, honestly, I try not to get too excited over the first week. Everybody's adrenaline's pumping. Football's back. Some teams looked really, really bad. Other teams looked really, really good. But it's week 1. There's a lot of football to go. injuries, people coming back from suspensions, all kinds of things. So, yeah, Green Bay looked good. I called it. I told you I knew they were going to beat Chicago, rivalry game.
You sure did.
But I'm not sold on them completely, to be honest. I still think Chicago's going to win the division. I just think they lost that game. They're going to beat them in Green Bay, so they're going to the rubber match. Chicago's going to win. Mm-hmm. So, you know, Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron Rodgers. I think it was a little rust, maybe. He didn't look great, but he'll be okay.
Just enough to get the job
done. He'll be okay.
done. Really.
Yeah, I mean, he got the win. That was the important thing.
You know, and Dave is actually Dave Bandage is asking, was it the Packers D looking that good, or was it the Bears offense that looked that bad?
And then you can attribute it to that as well, because Mitch Trubisky definitely did not look like he did last year.
Right.
But I mean, once again, it's 1 week.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of both.
You know, yeah. I mean, they did get to him though. I mean, you get hit 5 times, it does make you a little nervous in the pocket.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it didn't help that Tariq Cohen was really more featured in the pass game than the run game.
Yeah,
You know,
they never really got.
Yeah, there was no run game.
He got like I think he had 10 targets and he caught eight passes.
Yeah.
So,
They had a little life. What was it like the last 2 minutes of the game?
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, they're going to make it a nope. They're
Nope.
not.
Nope.
Fall apart on that one. So
Well, this coming week, I mean, they got the Vikings.
Yep.
And
Huge test.
yeah, I don't really know if the Vikings have quite the defense as the Bears do, but their offense, they should get a bigger test out of the Vikings, I think. And
yeah, no, I agree.
Moss, what kind of matchups are you looking for in that one?
I'm actually interested to see how Blake Martinez is going to go against Dalvin Cook. I mean, the guy ran 38 times, so Martinez needs to bring his A game.
Yeah.
And I think he could make things scary for that rushing offense on Minnesota.
Yeah, that's another thing that I think we overlook a lot is Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't really gotten a lot of love from the media.
No.
And he can be a threat.
You know, he showed it last week too, or this past week, I should say. You know, he was over 100 yards. You know, got in the end zone. And he looked great as far as that goes. But you know, they might have the remedy, I guess you can say, that the Bears failed to go with, because you mentioned it, Tariq Cohen, not many touches as far as out of the backfield. Even David Montgomery only got 6 carries, and he actually looked pretty solid even in the pass game too. They really didn't bring their running backs at all. You know, they went to Mike Davis a few times, which is, I mean, he should just be 3-4 touches a game on short yardage, but he was first down for some reason. They're giving him the ball and nobody else. Very weird. So if you're looking forward to Minnesota, they just ran the ball an astronomical amount of times.
Right.
Kirk Cousins threw 10 times the other day.
Yeah.
That's it. He was 8 of 10. I thought he got hurt. That's how awful it was.
I remember you
thought he was
saying that.
injured.
You're like, is Kirk Cousins even in the game anymore?
Did he get hurt? No, they just kept pounding and pounding and pounding that ball. So, of course, going with the whole overreaction that we're used to seeing after week 1, as Ray already alluded to, this would be a nice test to see if that's a legit D for that reason, because now they're going to be tested in a completely different way by being fed a healthy dose of run. Mm-hmm. And of course, if you stop Dalvin Cook, you still got to worry about Stephon Diggs, and you still got to worry about Adam Thielen.
True.
And
So,
Thielen looking pretty good this weekend.
yeah.
I think the Packers have a huge advantage, obviously home field advantage, going into Lambeau Field. I think the next 6 games, they have 5 home games. So that's going to be a huge advantage for that team.
Yep. But they got to keep Rodgers upright this weekend. That's a hard one, because
Rodgers was down 5 times too.
it was nuts. I know it's the Bears, and I know they have a good defense, but they retooled this offensive line, and it was already a pretty good one a little bit. You know, Bakhtiari looked like he was a turnstile, and he's one of the best tackles in the league. You know, they go out and they make a nice signing with Billy Turner, a good guard, I believe, from Seattle, and still they just kept getting pressure all over Rodgers. So Minnesota's defense is no slouch either. So you got to watch out for that too. If you're going to put Aaron Rodgers on his back all day, they're not going to score more than 10 points again, and that's dangerous against a team like Minnesota who's got offensive firepower.
I really want to. I want to see what Ray's going to handicap this game at. I can't believe it, man. So you and I watched the games this weekend, and you hitting them like crazy. People need to step
well.
up and
I got-
listen, man.
well.
I have to tell a funny story about that, actually. When I was at work on Thursday night before the game, I had a bunch of people asking me, can you look over the see what games I picked and let me know what you think? Like, I'm the expert. Remember, I'm a non-expert. I said, sure, I'll look. And the first thing I thought I saw was Chicago. And I go, I don't know about Chicago because my guy said Green Bay. So I would go with Green Bay. And that first quarter, I had like the most evil looks at me through the whole quarter. And I was like, hope you didn't listen to me. And then by the end of the game, they were like on their knees praising me. And I'm like, oh. So thank you, Ray.
You're welcome.
There we go.
Thank you, Ray, for making me look great at work.
Her guy. She got a guy. I got a guy.
I got a guy.
Guy.
Everybody's got a guy.
She got to answer.
Ray, you're my guy.
What was it? Somebody wanted to pay you like $100 or something.
Yeah, they're like, can you draft my fantasy team? I should have just taken the money.
Just take it.
Yeah.
Actually, I will say he did say there was players that he got in the first round, and if he wins, that he will come in and give me a very big tip. So we'll go with that.
Wow.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll take that.
This is
I'll
a
take
PG
it.
show, man. Listen, so Dave also chimed in just a second ago, and he said that this microphone my way. He said that quitting on David Montgomery seemed like a terrible plan, and
Very
not
good,
just
yeah.
because he was on his fantasy team. So
He actually looked. I mean, he didn't have great numbers. Let's be honest. It was like 6 carries for like 18 yards or something like that. So it wasn't a great yards per carry.
right.
But his first 2 carries, he showed some good quickness through the hole as far as that goes, and he also showed a little power. So why not? This is old school football. You're the Chicago Bears. You're one of the oldest franchises in the NFL. Go old school if you have to, if that's what's going to get you to win.
I'm a little concerned though with Tariq Cohen because I remember reading something before the season started saying that what was it, like he was noticeably breaking down at the end of last season. They had really kind of laid on him a little too much, and they were already talking about reducing his role. So I don't know. Maybe
Something happening there, but
yeah, maybe this is a sign of things to come. If it is, sorry, chicken. That might be a long year for the Chicago offense. I don't know.
Oopsie.
Yeah. Hey, I wanted to do one thing, kind of a fun thing. Everybody who's out there listening, they had a survey online. I just happened to stumble across, and it was, what is the greatest football movie ever made?
football.
Football. Got to be football, right? What's the greatest movie ever made?
Can we give ours, or are we waiting?
Yeah, you can if you want.
I'm a fan of Friday Night Lights.
Friday Night Lights.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the greatest, but I'm a fan of it.
Remember the Titans.
That,
Good one, too.
Okay.
that was a good one. If I had to pick one besides Remember the Titans, because Ray just totally swiped mine, the program was excellent.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
think I
the
ever saw
program was
that.
very good.
I was kind of a fan of We Are Marshall.
Oh, that's a good one, too.
good
They're
one.
all good.
And the big one that I think was the number one on this survey was Rudy.
Rudy.
And then I was watching the thing and I found out that you watch the interview with Rudy Rudiger.
Yeah.
And he's like, 97% of that movie is true. And then you start
What's the other 3?
well, you start watching like all the details and you're like, is that really 97? Because almost everything in that movie is completely wrong.
I gotcha.
Even to the part of them like clapping their hands and shouting Rudy at the
That's
end.
Hollywood for you.
Never happened, folks. Never happened.
Sorry to ruin it for you.
But it sure was inspirational.
Yes, it was.
Hey, listen, let's go to our break, and we're going to do another Moss's Mindbender.
Oh, before you go to that, I do have to say Dave Bandich got the question right last week. So thank you,
Nice.
Dave. I appreciate you. I just went back and looked, and I appreciate you chiming in on that. So if you know this week, let us know.
Yeah, in fact, you know what? That was just me. That was my bad last week.
That's all right.
All those messages were coming up and people answering. And you know what I did? I didn't look.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Completely ignored it. And so this week, I got my eyes on the prize.
That's right.
Moss is going to ask this question. It's all going to be very quick and believable. So send your answers in, and I will we'll announce the winner, right?
Yeah.
Right here.
Sure.
Live.
Sure.
All right, let's go. Let's go try to do this. Let's see if I can screw this up. Here we go. Ready?
All right, here we go with this week's Moss's Mindbender trivia question. This Thursday night is an NFC South showdown between the Tampa Bay Bucks and the Carolina Panthers. So going right along with that, my question is, who was the very first ever selection in the NFL draft for the Carolina Panthers in 1995? Again, who was the first ever selection in the NFL draft for the Carolina Panthers in 1995? We're going to find out that answer right after the break. Don't you go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the second down of 3 and Out, brought to you by Disruption Network and MyGarageBar.com. So before the break, I hit you with my Moss's Mind Bender. That question was, who was the first ever selection in the NFL draft for the Carolina Panthers in 1995? The answer is Kerry Collins. Yep, Kerry was selected as the 5th overall pick, a quarterback out of Penn State. He went on to play with the Panthers from 1995 to 98 before going on to play for numerous other teams. And when I say numerous, I mean like the whole rest of the NFL. So there you have it, folks. This week's Moss's Mindbender.
So Moss,
That's a good one.
Moss throwing some shade on.
Poor Kerry
I
Collins.
love
I'm
it.
sorry.
Like
good.
1, 2, to all of the.
To,
Yeah, like the whole.
to everybody else.
It's true.
And of course,
Oh,
this
man.
week I said I was going to do it. So Dave Bandage,
Did you get it?
yeah, Kerry
You're
Collins
kidding.
said down
Wow.
a beer in honor of Kerry Collins.
Wow. Good job, Dave.
It says such a bad plan to take a quarterback with your first.
Am I ever
expansion
going to be
draft.
able
Yeah.
to stump you? I want to know if I'm ever going to stump him.
Now here's my question: did you look that up? Did you look that up, Dave? Did you look that up? I know he's quick on the computer.
There you go.
He's got that Google
Yeah.
button right on that internet machine. He can fire it right off. So, yeah, and Moss, you got a good one for next week too. I've already seen your Moss's Mindbender. For
Oh,
that
really?
Because we did pre-record.
Of
a
course.
lot
Well,
of these.
yeah, that's obvious.
Anybody who looked at Erica's shirt and was like, she looks like she's wearing something different. Yeah, she was. 'Cause this was like a week ago.
Yeah.
That's all right. But hey, it still goes. Oh, okay. So Dave's saying something on here. Oh, he did. He'd know that one
Oh,
There you go.
nice.
better than me. I didn't know that one. Anyways, so I want to do a little bump here, and hopefully I can nail this, guys. If you get a chance, right? Oh, I got it down.
Oh, look at that.
So
at
yeah,
that.
our very own Jamie Ostenet over there, football guru from way back, has his band that is around this area.
Oh, yeah.
And it is called A Dying Breed, and they have a new album out. It's a live album,
This one's live. Yep.
and that's your third album, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm
Yeah,
a big fan. I've been following.
Yeah,
you.
you've been around us a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah. EP, a full length, and now a live album.
Yeah. So that's pretty good.
Sweet,
and
Jamie.
how much are you charging for that one?
$7. $7.
$7. But when
Eight
you spend
tracks
that
on
$7,
the-
you know where it went.
Yeah, 8 tracks on the live albums for $7.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's phenomenal, and I always swear by it. What's it called? It's Across the Plains. Is that the name of it?
Yeah, the instrumental.
Yeah.
That's the one. And yes, it is on there.
I was listening to it in the car. Look at this. I was going to show the CD, and I'm like, oh, guess
It's-
what?
it's not
It's not
there.
in there because it's in the car. It's fabulous, and you're going to have that available at the benefit coming up, the
Yep.
Animal for Animals benefit. That's going to be in about 2.5 weeks. Is it?
Just about.
Yep.
Oh my God, it's 2.5 weeks.
Believe me, I'm saying the same thing. I'm going to myself like, wow, I really need to get on the ball
Yeah.
because,
Yep.
yeah. But we've got a great benefit coming up for those that don't know. It's the Animal for Animals benefit. We do it every year for the Stephen Swan Humane Society. We raise a ton of money. We have local bands play. All kinds of good stuff, man. And over the past 12 years, this is going to be the 12th one coming up, we've managed to raise just about, about 70,000?
65-ish?
I'm being completely honest when I say I totally lost track of how much we just kind of deliver the checks and we're like, yeah.
Enough to make a difference.
Yeah. And they're like, you know what you're up to? And like, no, I don't know. I really don't know what we're up to. But if you get a chance, it's $10 per day. Stop out. And of course, Disruption Networks is going to be here. Disruption Network,
Yep.
with the
There you go.
is going to be there streaming. We're doing a streaming service with them this year, which could be really, really cool. And
Yeah, we're excited about that.
yeah, and we've got the wizard over here, Mr. Todd Williams. He's going to be doing some camera and all kinds of things and doing some interviews. And, of course, the rest of the guys from the D are going to be there. And it's going to be great. It's going to be a great,
Be a great time.
And that's over at Sickenburger Lane on Friday and Saturday, the 27th and 28th. If you want more details, where can we go? I think if you just do a search of like Animal for Animals benefit.
We'll post it on My Garage Bar and
put it out there.
Disruption Network.
Yeah. So make sure you stop out. Let's get talking again about a little bit of football here. And big game this week. Maybe not in terms of the outcome. That kind of sucked. But there was a game that was played. We referenced it earlier between the Baltimore Ravens and hang your head and the Miami Dolphins.
Oh, man.
I don't know what happened. I do know what happened.
Yeah.
But it was not pretty. I almost feel like 59 points was having mercy on that team.
Yeah.
And because that could have gotten
Yeah, they held back for sure.
that could have gotten even uglier. And I think I read, or maybe I was listening to the feed, and they said like 54 or 55 was the record. Yeah, man, that got out of control really, really, really quick.
Yeah.
And but one of the things I noticed, 5's the magical number today, right? 5 is everything.
Yeah.
So Lamar Jackson, 5 touchdowns in that game, and well, I think we have to ask the question right off now, and I think I know the answer. Is that a really, really, really bad Baltimore or Miami Dolphins defense, or a really, really, really good sign for the Baltimore Ravens?
Ooh.
Who wants to start on this one?
Man,
Because I could go off.
it's a very, very bad Dolphins
Yes.
team. Like Lamar Jackson, I'm happy he played fantastic, but he will not do that again. Like he's not going for 5 touchdowns every week. We might as well just relax. I don't even. That's the most I've ever seen him throw the ball, like ever.
Has he thrown the ball before?
I mean, apparently not until now. I didn't even think he could throw, and he played well, but it was against Miami, so take it with a grain of salt. Yes, he looked great, but impress me, do that against the Bears or something, and then I'll be like, all right.
Yeah.
But, it was a good game though.
Well, I'm going to give a little bit of credit to Lamar Jackson because I know, Jamie, every time we watched the Ravens last year, we were like, anytime Lamar Jackson had the ball, he's going to run. He's going to run. He's a one-trick pony. And nobody ever thought he was ever going to be able to make it as a quarterback in the NFL. And I know it's only 1 week, but I do think he's proving a little bit. This team is completely different than it has been in the past. They have, unfortunately, am I allowed to mention a different Brown?
No.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, we have to talk about a specific Brown with when we're talking about the Baltimore Ravens, because that is Marquise Hollywood Brown.
You can mention him.
Okay. I'm just making sure.
We
It's the same family, so I wanted to make sure we were still okay. But now he has that deep threat that he never had before. Yep. And now he has a running back that is incredible on the team, which is Mark Ingram. So maybe this is looking like it's going to be better for the team. I don't want it to be, because obviously I'm a Steelers fan. And when you looked at the NFC North, you automatically said Cleveland's going to win, Pittsburgh's going to be right there. After this week, I'm a little scared of Baltimore.
Yeah.
I think that they have the potential to do well.
That was season. What we were saying all along. We said, yep, it's going to be Cleveland.
Nobody even mentioned Baltimore in this category. So if this is the way things are going to continue, I'm scared.
People didn't give him any credit because
they didn't
have any faith in Lamar Jackson. That's the key right there.
You're right. But there's more to it now. Yep. He's got a team around him.
Yep.
And now maybe we're seeing a little, Ray, I will completely agree with you. 5 touchdowns is never probably going to happen again. But maybe he actually will do well.
I mean, I'm not saying that he's completely trash. No. I just think that by season end, he'll probably be right around 16th, 17th quarterback when you rank him. I think he'll be right in the middle of the pack. I agree. I was completely sold on Cleveland, and they obviously disappointed. I mean, got embarrassed by Tennessee. Obviously, Pittsburgh also got embarrassed.
We're not going to discuss that. Let's
still
just
confident
keep going.
that they're going to bounce back. So I still think that Baltimore's playing for possibly a wild card. I think Steelers still win the division, and I think Cleveland was my pick to get in the playoffs this year in a wild card. So I don't see 3 teams coming out of that division.
No.
So one of them's got to definitely not make it, and I think Baltimore's going to be the one to fall short. This was a great week 1, and they've got another very weak opponent in Arizona next week, so they got something to build on. But when they get to the meat of the schedule and have to play playoff teams, I think they're going to really show their true colors, and will be like, all right, well, this is Lamar Jackson, and we never really were confident in him anyway, so he just had a couple good games.
He is what we thought he was.
It'll be a big test.
Let him off the hook.
Look, I'm with Ray closer on this one than anything on that. Like, I've seen high school games that had better defense than what the Miami Dolphins just threw up there. That was the worst performance ever. And our poor friend Ray, who not this one, but
different Ray,
who partook the garage bar this weekend. We looked at him and just went, "It can't get any worse." And then you just saw the head go up, and is like, "Up, another touchdown." Like you're kidding.
He left.
It was halftime, and I go,
"Halftime."
Is it? Yeah, it was like the middle of the second quarter. I go, I know you really want to watch your game, but there's a couple other games on, so if you're okay, can we please change it? I'm sorry.
And in his defense, he didn't even want to put the damn thing on because he knew how bad it was going to be. So let's pump it. It'll pump the old brakes there just a little bit.
Yeah.
This is still Lamar Jackson, who showed numerous times last year that he was not a great throwing quarterback, and that's what all the pundits are saying about him still this year. So yeah, he had a great game against Miami. Let's wait. Hold on.
Yeah.
You still had a rookie receiver in Hollywood Brown that did all this damage. Hold on. Let's see if he can actually do it against a better defense. Somebody that's watching out for him. And you pretty much had a career day out of Mark Andrews, who up until this point wasn't known as being a huge pass catching.
Nobody even knew who he was.
Yeah. He has the potential, but never, well, at least to this point, didn't get to that level. So let's hold on just a touch before we start anointing him that. I mean, basically, the Baltimore Ravens had a headache. They took 2 Miami Dolphins, and they called a doctor in the morning. That was
love that.
That was all they had to do.
I love it.
You sat in your car working on that one, sir. I know you did.
Actually, no, I didn't. That's like a joke between me and my brother for that one. Well, that's for Chris right there.
Give it to the Ravens because they broke a lot of franchise records this week. So can I list them off? Do you guys care if I list these records off?
Yeah, normally I would say I don't want to talk about the Ravens.
But I got to give them credit where credit's due.
Right.
Most points scored, 59 points. Most points scored in a half, 42. Most offensive net yards was 643 yards. And margin of victory, 49 points. And the 59 points that Ravens scored were the most points an NFL team has scored in a season opener since 1973. Wow, so that's pretty impressive.
And also, I think
I know it was against the Dolphins.
The Dolphins. And I think I heard something else that Lamar Jackson had a perfect QB rating, which is already insane in its own right.
Right.
But I think I could be mistaken on this, and don't quote. But I think he's the third quarterback in like franchise history, and that like includes the Browns or something like that that's ever had a perfect.
Well, Dak Prescott also had a perfect QB rating.
Yeah, I could be even mixing up the two, to be perfectly honest. Like it's something weird like that. Like you hear perfect QB rating, that's damn near impossible. The way that they do the math on that to be perfect, it's very, very, very tough. So, that goes to show that a guy in Lamar Jackson who had a phenomenal week. That's really what it comes down to. But man, watch some of those throws. There's nobody in town on some of those throws. Like the Miami went to Tampa at that point and just like, go ahead, you play here. We'll be over there at that. I mean, really, they were gone.
I felt really bad today. I said something. Sorry to the Dolphins fans out there, but somebody said, "Oh, my uncle has season tickets to the Miami Dolphins." I said, "Well, he might be flushing those down the toilet pretty soon. I don't know what he's going to do with them."
Wow.
I felt really so sorry.
Wow.
Or sell them for, or give them away, whatever you want to do.
I was going to say, if you're going to talk about not being able to, flush them.
It's going to be a rough year.
You're going to sell them either.
Yeah, but, it's going to be a rough year.
So we're talking about the offense, and this is a team, obviously.
Known for defense.
Yeah, almost the exact opposite of what we were saying about the Packers before. This is a team that's always known for their defense.
Yeah.
So is this still like one of the dominant defenses around the NFL? Do you think it's like, we always say, like, is that a top 5 defense? Where do you think these guys rank this year?
Can I let you know in 3 weeks?
Exactly.
When they play somebody?
Exactly. That's the unfortunate part about it because, again, it was Miami unfortunately put together one of the worst teams in football, not only this year, but in my memory in like the last 10 years. It's a pretty ugly team.
Bad. It was bad.
So, and it's also a pretty ugly performance. And I've seen some nasty ones in Buffalo. Sure. And this was so bad that you can't really give too much credit. We can't even talk about the defense because they didn't
have to do anything.
They didn't have to do anything. It's hilarious that, Dolphin fans are cheering for Josh Rosen to come in at some point in the game. They cheer, and his second play, he throws a pick. So it's like there's not even anything to hang your hat on walking out of that stadium.
Got a great punter.
I don't even know if that's true.
Poor Miami.
Yeah.
I feel
really
bad for Ray. That's what he was looking for on that. Not several
Yeah,
Rays.
Raymond Party. Yeah, that's the
Raymond
one.
Party was over there going, we got a great
punter.
I will say though, the Ravens got Earl Thomas, so I think that's going to be a big factor in their defense for the future. So,
and so for right now, I guess we're holding our we're going to hold on to our thoughts until week 3 because it is true. You're absolutely right.
We're not going to put it in pencil, or we're not going to put it in ink, I should say.
Yeah.
Definitely in pencil right now.
Yes, keep it in pencil, not in ink.
Is there anything we need to look forward to for this this game?
Well, this isn't going to be a game either. They're going against Arizona.
But you know what? I think. Listen, people.
Are we getting it? Are we getting it a little bit?
Yeah.
I will say that Arizona is going to play better than Miami did.
Oh yeah.
Oh, far.
And the game will be more competitive for sure. I don't think. I mean, when I saw the line, it was Ravens 12.5.
Yeah.
I don't think they cover 12.5.
That's big.
To be honest, I would if you're gonna bet that game, which I wouldn't touch because I have better picks. But if you're gonna bet it, take Arizona on the points.
Yeah, I'm not the gambling guy there, but as
That
obviously Ray is.
Was
but
that a free one?
That's a freebie. Just because, when I see lines like that, like I said, people are all hyped right now, and this is what Vegas is trying to do. They're going to catch you, right?
Yeah.
Everybody saw how bad Miami played against the Ravens, so everybody's going to be like, oh, you got to bet Baltimore next week. And then they increase it and make this crazy line, and everybody just pounds Baltimore. We're going to see that line go to 14 by the time kickoff. And now you're going to be, wow, let's take the Cardinals on those points. Because you know how hard it is to win games by that much?
That's a lot.
That's a lot of points.
Yeah.
I would take the dog in that.
Yeah, this is one, not to go with the gambling line, but I'm with Ray 100%. Mostly, it has less to do with the Cardinals as a team and a little bit more to do with the comeback that they put on Detroit.
Exactly.
Which I understand. Detroit's not a great team either, so I'm not saying that they came against they world leaders or anything like that. But you still were down a ton in the fourth quarter and nothing had gone right, and you still managed to do something late. That I think that score is going to be a lot closer. Even if Baltimore gets up, you can't really walk away.
So, I mean, they were down 18 at one point, right? In that game?
The Cardinals? Yeah, they were down 18.
Down 18, and you force a tie.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be interesting to see if Baltimore takes a back seat because they think they're so much better than they are, and then Arizona shows up and proves them wrong.
Absolutely. I'm telling you, man, Cardinals, I don't think they're a playoff team by any stretch, but I think they're going to play harder than people expect, and I think
they're going to beat the teams that you don't think they're going to beat.
They're going to cover that spread, though, I'll tell you that.
There you go.
Interesting stuff. So listen, we're going to go to our second break here, but before we do, this would usually be the time in the show when we go to Jamie's IR.
Yes.
And I'll be the first to admit it's been a crazy work week. Week, and we didn't necessarily get to a lot of the things we thought we were going to. As in your production,
just everything.
yeah. So, but we do want to hear it because there were some injuries around the NFL, and I think they're pretty pertinent that we have to talk about them. And so, Jamie, hit us with a little knowledge on the. This is going to be the first.
This is the first of on the Disruption Network. Free and out on the Disruption Network.
Yeah. Go for it, my friend.
So the first IR that I have this week, we almost saw the same injury happen twice, not only in the same day, but on the same game, which is absolutely amazing in its own right. That injury was shared between Tyreek Hill and Nick Foles, of course. Now, Nick Foles is the one I'm going to be focusing on because he's the one that fractured his clavicle. So, for those who don't know what the clavicle is, it is your collarbone. It is a small bone that attaches to the middle of your chest and runs all the way to your shoulders. It is very important in the mobility of your shoulder. So, fortunately for Nick Foles, it wasn't his throwing shoulder. We saw Aaron Rodgers in the past have the same type of injury, which really limited his mobility even after coming back from the injury. But in this case, it's his non-throwing shoulder. But still, any broken bone requires at least 6 weeks to heal, and that's just standard, normal healing of the body. So for Foles, who did undergo surgery, what this entails is a metal plate, a titanium plate usually, or stainless steel, and screws put in there to hold it in place while the bone actually comes back together and heals. Then once that 6 weeks is up, he gets reevaluated, probably an additional 2 to 3 weeks before he can continue on to normal athletic activity. And that's actually why you saw, I believe yesterday it was, Nick Foles went down with the IR designation on top of that, but eligible to return. And I believe his first game could be week 11, so 10 weeks from now is his recovery time before he can step foot back onto the field as a Jacksonville Jaguar. So here's to you, Nick Foles, and a speedy recovery so you can get back to throwing that rock.
There you go.
There you go.
That was nice.
Yeah. I feel like there was a lot of clavicles this week.
There was. And the only reason I didn't lump Tyreek Hill into that is because he broke his on the other end closer to the chest, which is a totally different injury that he might recover from in just a couple weeks.
And doesn't get surgery, right?
He could get IR'd as well. It's just super tough to figure out how that's going to heal. That's going to be maybe a future one.
Oh,
We'll see.
future IR.
Ooh.
Let's go to our second break, and when we come back, we're going to try something, which is Ray's House Money segment that we usually we go to.
Nice.
And it's going to be a little different. We usually would put him up against like a green screen, and it's going to be all like big production. Again, Ray's like, it is. I don't know anything about this.
We couldn't do it.
No, but Todd actually spent some time and put something together for us that we're gonna use. We're gonna see how it goes, and more importantly, you get to hear the music in the background with my guy there from the Stanley Theater who yells out "House Money." We'll be right back.
That was nice.
Like
pretty
that.
good.
Yeah, it's worked on that one. We'll be right back.
Who the hell are you? You know. You all know exactly who I am.
Talking about house money, man. Well, we gonna come to you and we gonna bring it to you like this.
Say my name.
All right, so this is obviously Ray Nation with their this week's House Money. If you were listening to me last week, we were joking about it. I told everybody to take Green Bay. I just didn't think that Chicago had what it took to win. And, of course, you won if you listened, so you're welcome. To start off this week, I got to be honest, I'm really liking the Chargers. I know it was a little nail-biter versus the Colts last week, but I think that they're going to keep the good times rolling this week. Take the Chargers -3. I am going to be honest, I'm not a fan of the Cowboys, but they looked good. Dak Prescott was firing on all cylinders. Amari Cooper looked great. Ezekiel Elliott didn't have a huge workload, but he looks like he's ready to just go for another 1,600 and a rushing title. So I would like to take the Cowboys on the road against a tough divisional opponent. Washington Redskins, take the Cowboys -5. I'm also going to give you one, to be honest, I know the Niners were probably happy about how they played last week versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but they are not going to do that again this week. They get to play at Cincinnati, and I like Cincinnati at home at the +2. If you're feeling really ambitious, take them on the money line because I really think they're going to upset the Niners. And I'm going to give you a pick. I'm going to be honest. This one kind of hurts my heart, but I saw that the Denver Broncos were favorites this week versus the Bears, and even as a Broncos fan, I'm not feeling it. I don't think that they're that good this year. It's a rebuild, and Chicago's defense is fantastic. So I would take Chicago +1. And there you have it, folks. That's this week's House Money.
Wow. Oh, I'm still Rich Masucci over here. This is something different that you guys aren't used to. We are going to switch things up every now and then over here in 3 and Out. This might be something you see. We do know that Rich was a little passionate about what we're going to talk about in the third segment. So we're going to let him be part of the panel, and I'm going to take over as the host, and we'll see how I do. I mean, we might be without you every now and then, so we got to make sure somebody's able to take this over. So I'm going to take a crack at it, and just be kind to me, okay? Very, very, very kind to me. I do have to make sure I am not Rich, and now I'm Erica. But
Well, you're still Rich, but you know what?
There it is.
Everybody knows.
There it is. We got it all worked out.
And we do have to say, too, that you're right. A lot of the people know around here that we do shows, and we're always working these crazy hours. And I've pretty much already got it pinned down that next week, no Rich Masucci for you. So
I don't know. I'll have to see if I can take over.
Yeah. So this is you.
This is my test.
This is you cutting your teeth, so to speak.
It is
live, right on the air.
Here,
so
on 3 and Out.
But I am very passionate about the next topic, and so I'll let you hit it. And
Well, before we get to the next topic, I do want to say that we've been in talks with Mark Bolas. We're still trying to figure out how we can get him in for his segment, Bolas's Bargain Bin. So hopefully by next week, if not next week, the week after, we'll get him in, or he can send in a video and we can get his picks, because that guy, he knows what he's talking about.
that's right, champ.
Yeah, that's right, champ. So
Got
Mark
some chicken,
Bolas,
champ.
Big Apple Music, great. They do great things for this community, so make sure you check them out.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get right down to it. I want to talk with you guys about something that has become a huge trend in the NFL. Why are players so quick to ask for a release from their current teams when the team struggles? I mean, I know this seems like a very simple question to tackle, but there's certainly something to be said about these teams of old. I mean, they were made up of players that seemed to be committed to the team itself, and they worked harder and harder every year in order to assure that victory. So as the game seems to revolve more and more around the money, unfortunately, and it's revolving more around that individual player, do you think that the NFL stands a risk at losing fans like the NBA did back in the late 90s? I mean, there was a great deal of fans out there that were completely turned off by that greed that was going around the league. And they tuned out, and they never came back. So what does the NFL need to do? Do you think they need to do something to try to like wrangle in those personalities in the NFL? What options do you think as a fan those owners and the GM can do down the road to ensure that those players aren't just going to walk out at any given moment just because there's trouble? So I want to know, you guys, I mean, are these fans in the NFL going to just tune out, or do you think they kind of bought into this whole thing?
I'm gonna take the big stab at that. I guess that's the reason I'm over on this side.
Yeah.
Listen, if you've listened to our show in the past, you would probably know that I am not a fan of athletes getting paid like millions and millions and millions of dollars. I'm just not. And and I know I'm probably alone on this panel, and I might even be alone in the sports world when I say that I look at a contract, like the one Aaron Rodgers got last year, and I don't even know how you justify making that much money, because at its very root, at its foundation, football's still a game. It's true. It's entertainment.
Very true.
It's entertainment, and I know that the owners are taking a huge cut. It's a business too. It is a business, and the owners they make a killing. But I don't know. I feel it's almost like when you go grocery shopping and people complain about the cost of living, and oh man, look, I can't believe I'm paying this much for milk and bread and blah blah. And you just go, I don't know either. I don't know how the prices on such a thing like football just spiraled away. I really don't.
It did. You're right.
Now, that being said, you as a grown man, as an athlete, are getting paid an enormous amount of money to play something that I think most people in this country, most people in the world would agree that we only wish we were blessed with that amount of talent to go and play. You got guys that are making, $2, $3, $4 million a year, and they're threatening to walk out because they're not happy with the conditions on their team because they're losing. Mm-hmm. And it's a very weird thing for me to process in my head, because I go to a job every day, and my God, there's a reason why they pay me, because I hate working. Mm-hmm. I'll be the first to admit I hate it. Call me lazy. I hate working. I get it. I want to walk out of my job too, but you know what?
You do.
I can't do it. I can't do it because at the end of the day, I need to eat and pay bills and things like that. And it is a slap in the face to every person in that audience, at least in my mind, that is paying hard-earned money. Their hard-earned money. Those football tickets are expensive. Most people can't just, fork that out every given minute. They're paying a lot of money to go see a game, and the players are now saying, this team that you just paid this amount of money to see, it's not even really worth my time being here. I'd rather go someplace else where I can win and they can showcase my talent. Dude, suck it up, man. That's all I can say, because there are a hell of a lot worse things that you could be doing in life than making $4 million on a losing football team.
Well, the thing is that you're a team sport. There are individual sports. So if that's what you want to do, then you should go do that sport.
Yeah.
Because I know me personally, I've done both, and you need to learn to work around the people that you're with. Because otherwise, you go and you do it yourself then, on your own level.
I'll tell you something. You know, when and I'm going to sound like I'm pandering out on this. I people always say, like, "What are you doing, man? What are you doing?" But it is true. When you think of all the things that people do in life, like military, police officers, school teachers, you name it. I was even thinking about this last night. You know, when we had to go out and get the garbage at the end of the road, and I went, "Damn, I don't know what we put in this garbage, but I would not want to touch it." Somebody gets paid to go do that, you know. And I'll tell you what. Tell that person, have them walk off the job, making their $20 an hour or whatever they are, and say, this is below me. I'm not going to do it anymore. Mm-hmm. See how quick you appreciate that position. It's amazing the jobs in this world that don't get any appreciation. They don't make nearly the cash. That person who probably collected my garbage last night, thank God, thank you wherever you are, because I didn't want to touch it, probably won't make $1 million in his entire lifetime. And some of these athletes, even though we say, yeah, they got to make their money quick, I'll never make in a lifetime what they make in 1 year. And don't give me that crap that they got to make it quick because once they get out of the NFL, that's it. No, then you go on to what the rest of us enjoy, which is a normal lifetime. And you can go work any job, especially if you're giving like I don't know, if you got $53 million in the bank that you can start out on. If you told me I had to live on $53 million and keep that as a cushion to go find an occupation in this world, I might not even work. People quit their jobs in this world for winning a few $1 million. They just do. You're talking an insane amount of money to play a game that a lot of us go play in our spare time, and you got the audacity to walk away and say, not worth it. It's just not worth me being here. $4 million to play a game. Get over it, man.
So real quick, Jamie and Ray, because we're going to have to wrap this up pretty soon.
Yeah. See, I find this to be more of a catch-22. Now, don't get me wrong. If you are a professional athlete that is under contract and you are threatening to just walk away, then shame on you. I totally understand. There's a lot of money at stake, and you should go play, and that's your job. I mean, that's the way I look at it. But the other thing is, no matter what the career is, you always aspire to be in the best position for you. And when it comes to an athlete, if you want to be in the best position, that means winning a ring in this case, or winning the championship, winning the big one. And if you're unhappy with the place that you're at, then you will try to aspire or try to find some way to move to that better opportunity. So if you're threatening to walk away from the game or the team that you're playing on, I guess you can say, just because you're playing poorly this year, then you should probably just kind of put it into perspective a little bit. If you're looking to find a way to move on to a better opportunity, I actually get behind that a little. But as long as you play to the best of your ability or to the best of because you are there to perform a service, to do a job. That is your career path. That is your job. So as long as you continue to do that, I'm okay with it. But again, where I find a lot of the issues come, and this is where the catch-22 comes in, is that you see them like, oh, you know what, we're not playing well, I don't like where I'm at, I don't like what I'm doing, and then just stopping. And that's where I have a huge issue with it. Like, no, you signed this contract to be in Oakland. Yeah, I did that on purpose. And so you should, you should honor said contract instead of, doing whatever you can to get out of that situation. That's my whole philosophy on it.
You see, I'm on the side with the players. And,
I know you are.
because for me, the way I look at it is very simple. We as fans, we pay hard-earned money to watch them, right? Mm-hmm. The money is there for the players and the owners because we're the ones paying it, right? That's where they're making their money. They're making their money off of us. Because if all fans just said, you know what, we no longer want to watch football, then where would they get their money from? But the reality is this. There is a pie, so to speak, of the dollars that are going to the NFL. And then that pie is divvied up between the owners and the front office and then the players. And that percentage, I don't know exactly what it is, but I think that the players, every time they have these collective bargaining agreements, they fight for every dollar back and forth, which is why owners have issues with things like offering guaranteed dollars. Like we don't want to talk about Antonio Brown, but the reality is
The receiver.
what he did, was kind of selfish, but he's not looking at it as in the big picture, because what he did and essentially got his way is it's setting a bad precedent for future players.
Exactly.
Because owners are going to be like, do you see what this idiot did when we gave him the guaranteed money? Now we're a little scared to give guaranteed money again because he's a moron. And he wasn't thinking about anyone but himself. And in that aspect, he was selfish. But at the same time, as a player, you only have a small window of time where you can get these dollars, so you want to maximize your dollars. And you have to use whatever leverage you can to get the most money that you can grab. So when you pout and sit out and hold out, like Melvin Gordon right now, who is on his rookie contract, but he's holding out because he's seeing the money that everybody else is getting around him. So he's like, well, I'm not going to waste my body. Let me think about it. Le'Veon Bell did it, not first, but most recent, last year. And then what did he do? He finally got his money with the Jets. So everybody else is like, well, he did it, so now I can do it. And Antonio Brown did it, and obviously he got out of a contract, and now he's with a championship team, and he's getting his money still, because if you guys didn't see, when he signed the contract, they had a second-year team option that will give him $20 million guaranteed. So he's still going to get every penny of his money as long as he performs and they do well and he doesn't cause any problems. Yeah. So the money's there. So they have to just do whatever they can to get as much of it. Because when you really think about it, if the money doesn't go to the players, it's not like they're giving it back to the community. It's not like they're refunding our ticket sales. It's going to go to the owners who already have exorbitant amounts of money anyway. So
I just I think that everybody needs to take a page out of Larry Fitzgerald, because he has stuck with his team, been there through thick and thin, and
good and bad, but and he's also been paid, and he's been paid. He's been paid well.
But he's loyal to his team.
Exactly,
So.
I agree.
I'm going to tell you what, and I'm sorry, I just always think in terms of like real life experiences. Sure. Jamie does his bit in the surgical. What do we say? The operating room, right?
There you go. Yep.
Okay. And I can just imagine. I don't want to know how much you make. I don't think it's anybody's business. But I imagine it's probably more than we're making here. Now, what would happen if Jamie's performing operations on like knees and hips? Right? And all of a sudden somebody wheels in, this guy, and he's on the table, and that's his thing today. And all of a sudden Jamie decides, maybe this isn't really what I want to do. What I really want to do is be down the hallway doing heart surgery. So you know what?
Just walks out.
This guy that's sitting in front of me, no, bring me a heart or else I'm out,
Yeah.
And
great analogy.
And I'm going to wait for something better, because this is not worth my talent. Everybody would laugh him out of he would never work again.
Exactly.
He would never work again anywhere. Well, at least in the hospital.
Yeah.
Everybody would go, he's ridiculous. Now, but you do that in sports, and everybody goes, yeah, you know what? He's justified. Yeah. He's justified. I don't understand it. And even for as good of money as you probably make, you're never going to make money like that. Never in a million years. And you're doing something that you are taking people's lives in your hand. Mm-hmm. You're doing something where you have to be at the top of your game all the time.
Yep.
Not once in a while you come in there, you feel like, today, maybe I'm not really feeling it. I'll do a half-assed job and try to sew this guy up to, just to keep him going. You can't do that. You have to be on top of it. And even you as a surgeon, doctor, whatever we want to call it, it's crazy. You're just, it's a totally different standard. And I understand the piece of the pie.
Yep.
I totally get it. I guess that's why I said before that, I just don't understand how the money seemed to spiral away, and how there's that what we value in this world. It's amazing that we're always yelling about CEOs make too much money. Damn them. How come they're not giving it back to the little man? But yet, we champion athletes who are making just as much money, if not more. And I get it; they're not they're the little man in that equation. But man, it's just money.
It's crazy.
I'll never understand it.
I think this is going to be talked about for many more episodes of 3 and Out. We could talk about this for 3 hours if we really wanted to.
Well, and that's why they have the collective bargaining agreement and all these other things that never come to any kind of agreement there. So,
but we do have to get out of here pretty soon. So really quick, I just want to know what everybody's watching this weekend. we have a game?
I mean, I like the Vikings-Packers game.
Oh,
I think
yeah,
that'll be
that's
fun.
great.
I'd like to see how Aaron Rodgers performs against that Vikings defense. I also want to see Kirk Cousins go back to being Kirk Cousins that we will he's getting the $27 million a year. So let's see what, do something. You can't throw 10 passes. I mean, it's kind of crazy. So
It's a lot of money per pass.
a lot of money.
I'm gonna home job it. Sorry, that's a great game between Seattle and the Steelers.
Just hope for better things.
And I want to see much more. Everybody's coming down on the Steelers. If you look at the power rankings, they dropped from like 8 to 14, and they're a better team than that. I think
That's
they
true.
step up this week.
Yep.
I'll
about you,
actually agree with you on that, but I'll also go with the one that looks most entertaining to me is New Orleans and the Rams. Looks
Ooh, that's
like
a good
that's going to just be a fire sale. It's going to be just a shootout. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be wonderful to watch, though.
Very good.
Then we'll see which defense actually is legit.
Very good.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see Jacksonville Houston because I think that's a
Yeah.
division matchup that's going to be outstanding. I saw way more out of both of those teams than I expected. So
And let me tell you, Deshaun Watson last night.
sick.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Even without Nick Foles for Jacksonville, because I have to say his name. Ready for it?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Gardner Minshew the second.
Oh, Minshew. Yeah.
Yeah.
Minshew.
Fu,
So-
which we aptly titled Fu Minshew.
Fu, if he had a
Fu,
kid named
yeah.
Fu Minshew. Before we sign off, I do want to do one thing.
Yeah.
And that's that I want to throw out congratulations, great job to the crew here at Disruption Network. They did the instrument drive for
good job.
for Proctor High School. I hope I'm getting all the details on that right. And it was 150-ish instruments that they were able to provide just by kind of going out and asking the community to donate these their used and unwanted instruments.
That's awesome.
So there's a whole bunch of organizations that were in there. I know like the Pizza Box, certainly Big Apple Music, Disruption Networks, like Passion Coalition.
We got Z in the back.
Z's over there chiming in from the other room.
Bargain groceries.
Regardless, I mean, seriously, great job to all you guys. And for those who don't know, I think I mentioned this last week. I actually started years ago when we were podcasting. Z and I, this was in the very infancy, if you will, of Disruption Networks. And I remember our very first show. What were we doing on there? We were doing dick and fart jokes, and we were talking about unicorn dildos. I had my shirt off and I was dead drunk. So
things have changed quite a bit.
Yeah. It's been great watching the maturation, right? That's the word, right?
Yeah.
of this network. And congratulations to those guys. That's a way to step up, and it's so. You think about it, for those first couple months, it was like, hey, we're having an argument with the Observer Dispatch, and it's amazing to see, all of a sudden these guys are, standing and receiving awards and things like that, and it's just
great.
Congratulations to them.
Yes.
And I'm so proud of those guys.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why we're here.
Yeah,
no doubt about
and
it.
we can't thank you enough for letting us come in here and take over the studio and do our thing. And Todd, Z, and Chicken, we can't wait to see what the future holds for all of us.
Yep.
But we do have to get out of here
All
because
right, let's
we're
get
way
out.
over time. That's what happens when you have Rich over on the panel side. So, on behalf of myself, Moss, and Rich, Ray, and Jamie, thanks for tuning in. You can catch us next Tuesday at 7 o'clock right here on Disruption Network and mygaragebar.com.
Great job, Moss.
Thank you.
Nice work.
So have a great night. We are out.
Later.
See ya.